remember staying in Dallas at an apartment that was like...
It was a 1-bedroom apartment.
And it was smaller than this room.
Yeah, the living room was like
12
by 12, I think, and there was like 12 people in this small living room.
It was just bodies piled up on each other, just a bunch of dudes. We probably like
a few cats.
Yeah.
Cats.
We probably left a stench, like when we left the next day.
Yeah.
Like just 12 smelly guys.
Pretty sure we still do.
And then how does that first tour compare to touring with Circa Survive?
It was actually pretty similar. I mean, Circa Survive, we still slept like in our van in Safeway parking lots.
Yeah, we definitely would at that time.
I mean, obviously, we were playing to more people. We were still like our first year of doing bigger supporting tours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're still not getting paid that well, and nobody knows who you
Depend
are.
on merch sales, basically.
Yeah.
You know, people don't buy much for open fans, really.
It was a blast. It was like it was one of our first times being able to tour like on the West Coast.
It's definitely a good step in which we were doing better. It wasn't like as like collecting change from under the seat to buy like a chicken sandwich.
How did you get on their radar? Circa Survive and the Deer Hunter?
Kind of the same group of friends.
Yeah, I think
friends.
I think our friends in Manchester, their singer Andy met Anthony Green at Bonnaroo or something, and they were talking, and he was like, I have these buddies over there, you gotta check them out, they'd be perfect like for touring with you, and I think they did, or somehow.
Did Anthony or Colin or any of them have any words of wisdom for the road?
I think
not like intentionally, but like
I think just like through
the way they
they treated us really well, just for just meeting us and for us to just be like, just whatever opening band.
For them to be
really nice.
Yeah, I think Anthony was the first person to walk up to us when we walked in the venue in Tucson.
Yeah,
and then he was like, "Hey, I'm Anthony. I'm so glad you're here."
Yeah.
Anton and I were gonna play a prank on them the first day of the tour, but they were too nice to us that we kind of just dropped it.
We're gonna pretend we didn't speak any English and like just let that run for a while. But we're like,
it lasted for probably 5
They're way
minutes.
too nice.
Everyone looked a little confused. But they were the nicest guys, and I think like their wisdom came from just like watching a band who's done it so long and who's like still like so like
they're not
edited
they're
down.
not like jaded or burnt out or anything. But like
they're definitely stoked to do what they're doing.
They care about their fans. They care about the bands that they take out. Like every night on that tour, I feel like Anthony was late to the stage because he was like at the merch table or just walking around in the crowd like high-fiving people. It was just awesome to watch somebody who has such a like cult following be that involved with the people that follow him.
Yeah, genuine.
Yeah, and that's all. That's kind of person he is, like in front of people and behind.
Had you had signed with Triple Crown prior to touring with Circa, or was that after?
No, we just signed with Triple Crown in September.
Yeah. And you met them at Bamboozle?
Yeah, we met Fred for the first time at Bamboozle.
That was in April.
Yeah, last April in Carter set, and we just kept in contact, and the more we talked to him, the more it made sense to go with Fred and Triple Crown. He's been doing awesome things for us, and we're really happy to be a part of it.
You also mentioned Manchester Orchestra. You guys also toured with them as well.
Yeah,
a couple times. What are some highlights from that tour?
We were opening up for Manchester and Cage, the Elephants co-headline tour, and we were playing like the craziest.
Those were the biggest venues that we've played.
We had between 2,000 and 3,000 people a night.
Yeah, it was the first time we've seen
It was really sad for us. It's like, we have no business.
Yeah,
being
we would walk
places
into
like
these
that.
venues and just shake our heads.
Yeah.
Like the
What
size
are we doing?
venues that you remember seeing, like your idols, like when you were a kid, you know.
We got to play the Tabernacle in Atlanta, which is like all of our dreams to play there. Like we grew up going to shows there and watching all of the bands we love play there. So being on that stage was a surreal moment.
It went by like that, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
real quick,
way too
but
fast.
it was surreal.
What do your friends and family think about your band now that you're on the road touring full time?
Well, our mom's always telling us to go back to school and quit the band. So she's always, every time we see her, she asks, like, when are you going back to school?
It's the opposite for his mom,
Their
Michael's
parents
mom.
are really supportive. I mean, our mom is supportive too, but she, wants us to do something else.
Yeah.
But
My parents know that this is what I want to do, so
yeah,
pretty cool with it.
but luckily we have, a lot of friends and family that support what we do and, try to help us out whenever they can. We're really fortunate for that.
You mentioned we were talking about Circa Survive, and you said that you learned mostly from them through their actions. Interestingly enough, I did an interview with Thrice. They said the same thing about Cave In on their first tour.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys also toured with Thrice.
Right.
And those were some pretty big venues as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great tour to be a part of. That was last year after their major minor tour after they released their record.
Also some of the most humbling guys that we know.
Yeah,
Yes.
nice dudes.
They've been really good to us. They
Yeah.
kind of like took us under their wing, and
Yeah, it's just nice to see that bands that you look up to like that, like, end up, at least in our situation, all the bands that we've been touring with have been awesome to us.
Yeah. Hopefully, if we ever get to the point like that, we can do the same for
Just help out
bands
other
that we're
bands.
friends with.
keep the cycle going.
Yeah, that's the way it should be though.
Did you grow up listening to Thrice?
Yeah,
Yes.
we did.
I did.
For sure.
I've been listening to them since middle school.
Yeah, we listened to them when they were metal.
I remember going to Best Buy in high school and buying Illusion of Safety before I could drive.
We definitely were a fan before we started touring with them on festival.
So on the road so much, are there things that you absolutely cannot live without?
Yeah.
We have 4 bottles of Sriracha. And
Yeah, 4 bottles of Sriracha. We put that on everything.
Well, funny you guys mentioned that. I have a gift for you.
Uh-oh.
Did you go to Jared?
Nice and wrapped. Whoever wants to take it.
You shouldn't have. Hey, we just met, man.
I know.
So nice
I
of
didn't
you.
even get you anything.
Yeah, I wish you would have known.
Should have
I have a feeling. I have a feeling.
So now you have 5 bottles of Sriracha.
You're the best.
Still,
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
On the topic of spicy things, are you going to do more tour announcement videos in the shower?
we've been
I don't know.
slurking on that. We've been slurking so
maybe like a
hard.
bubble
Weren't
bath.
we talking about that just the other day?
Yeah. I was talking about my mom's reaction to the
Oh,
video.
man.
When she saw it, when it pans over at the end and Johnny and Michael are in the
Just
shower
staring at
as
each
well,
other.
she's like, certainly they have pants on.
But you didn't.
And then she was like, who's filming this?
Not us.
She said,
Yeah.
who's filming this? And I was like, pretty sure that was Ethan, my little brother. So Ethan's filming them in the shower.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
What a weird thing.
Yeah.
We're really strange.
Yeah, we're
It all just kind of happened so fast.
What makes it better is that the video is probably like 2 minutes long, something like that.
Yeah.
We had that water running for a solid like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, we were really cool.
It was a lengthy shower. I was getting croony.
Alright,
Yeah, worse right now.
let's not give too much away.
I was just enjoying my time.
I just like taking showers.
Well, moving forward, do you guys still work day jobs when you go home? Do you still work at Urban Outfitters?
Yes.
We all have jobs.
I've been working 2 jobs because he recently just got married, and like up until his bachelor party, his wedding day, I was working my butt off, working 2 jobs. I had like a print shop and the retail store. So yeah, we're fortunate enough to have flexible jobs and let us leave here and there.
I work at an after-school program, taekwondo school that his mom runs. So
And I work next door to that taekwondo school at a pizza shop.
Yeah. And he used to
With
work next door.
with his brother.
Yeah.
But then Tanner
His
used to work
wife used to
next
work
door
there.
at the deli shop.
Yeah.
So they were all like in one shopping center.
If you ask me, there was way too much proximity between the four of us over the past like 5 years.
Yeah,
It's just too much. Enough is enough already.
Losing it.
Changing the subject, Garden Window was released in November of last year. Do you feel your fan base growing?
Yeah, I think
This
so.
tour's been great.
Yeah, this tour, like, this is like the first time where we've noticed like people coming out, like specifically just to see us, and it's the first time where people are like singing along to our songs, like.
Or at least the first time we've noticed.
Yeah,
this.
because like people sing along to our songs, that just doesn't happen ever. So it started happening this tour after we released our record, and it's been overwhelmingly awesome.
Yeah, it's one thing to see like pockets of 30, 40 people, however many people, like in a crowd of 1,000 at a House of Blues or something. But then to like go back to that city on this tour and have 100 people there, and those same like 30 or 40 people there, and they're singing. It's much more overwhelming.
Yeah. It's different, like being the opening band, like, oh, those 6 kids over there know who we are. That's cool.
There you go, Thrice.
They're all together,
Ticket
they're,
sales.
But yeah, I think definitely having a record out helped a lot. I feel like it's kind of hard to. We just had the EP really prior to that, and it wasn't like really a full representation, I think. So we've definitely noticed a lot of difference since releasing the record, and the response has been incredible.
Yeah.
What was the first show where people were singing your songs?
DC was the first show on this tour, and it was the first one where it was like from the first song, people were singing along.
Like throughout the whole thing, it was awesome.
And that's the interview.